All right, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is Toyota CEO says this engine will destroy the entire EV industry. Bro, I'm not sure that's hard. All right, I have no idea the technology behind what he's about to speak about, let's say, but I will say EVs are troubling to me mainly because the range is not very good, guys. The overall the degradation of the batteries themselves to the point where you have to then pay a ridiculous amount of money to actually, get a brand new battery. Think about it, $20,000 for a brand new battery pack for your car, but your car's not worth that money, right? So then what does that mean? People are going to end up buying a brand new car. Okay. And that car then is going to go to the junkyard. Now, what happens to those batteries? How do you dispose of these batteries safely? But also think about the level of mining that'll be required to actually, bro, we're fixing a problem and making a new one, basically, guys. Think about the mining that goes into producing these batteries. Okay. What else? Oh, bro. Our grid, like our infrastructure, is terrible in the United States of America. I just want you guys to know this fully, guys. Think about a storm that comes through your town, and a pretty bad storm, let's say, but you lose electricity. Does that happen to you? Imagine if every single person in your neighborhood had an electric vehicle, and they all plugged them in at the same time, bro. Right? We need to work on our grid first before we even look at moving over to any like full-time EVs, bro. I'm sorry. Okay, but all right, let's check this out. Let's see where this takes us.
16代目のクラウン、日本の歴史に重ね合わせれば、それは明治維新です。ご覧ください。新しい時代の幕開けです。
Okay. Why you show me a Volkswagen first, though? Either way.
Although several engines have been around for a while, it is becoming increasingly clear that there are more efficient ways to provide the necessary power to transport our cars from point A to point B.
Okay.
Toyota believes that hydrogen power is the way to go, and that its new engines will render electric vehicles obsolete. It's time to examine the development of Toyota's engines in more detail and discover some other factors that contribute to Toyota's position as a market leader.
Okay.
How does Toyota achieve this? Can Toyota's hydrogen-powered internal combustion engine replace electric vehicles?
All right, just to see if we can answer this question here. I'm going to go ahead and say no, but I think it has... I'm just trying to think of how they're doing it. Maybe hydrogen plus air. That could be doing it. Like oxygen, hydrogen inside of a cylinder, obviously. It would probably have to be a pretty large engine because the problem with hydrogen itself is that it has a very low energy density, meaning that you'll, by volume at least, right? So you'll need to probably run like a 20-liter V6. Imagine. All the car guys out there just lost their mind, I'm sure. What I just say, that's basically what's going to have to happen. It's going to stretch the front of the car out pretty crazily, or everything's going to have to be the size of an SUV, maybe like an Escalade or something like that, guys. Probably, if you want that to run efficiently, or hybridize it, right? So don't just get rid of EV completely, right? I mean, just do a lower amount of batteries inside of the vehicle. Work on the battery technology so they just don't degrade as fast, probably. But I think overall the same process is kind of being done anyway in like the Priuses, right? But with gas, regular fuel. Hydrogen itself will also give pretty much zero emissions. I mean, zero emissions is a great thing. I think that's the overall problem, right? That's what everyone has issues with. If we were to do some type of hybridized system where we can kind of convert the combustion from the pistons into mechanical energy, which is obviously what they're doing, but also convert that mechanical energy into, let's say, maybe into like an alternator or something, but something special, like a special alternator that has the ability to kind of charge the hybrid batteries. I think that would probably be much more intelligent than just a pretty much common typical EV that has many issues. And hydrogen, don't get me wrong, hydrogen is going to have issues, guys. I'm just thinking about it and thinking about how they can even achieve it, but it just, all I see are kind of issues, guys. Supply chain issues. I think about this here for a second. How are you going to store this hydrogen? I mean, I get it. It's very light and things like that, but we're going to have to invent some type of specialized mass storage of hydrogen. Think about that. Guys, a super oh my God, just my head, I'm like nightmares thinking about this before it even happens. Bro, a super flammable gas. Super flammable. I mean, that's obviously why they're using it to kind of for like combustion, obviously, because hydrogen in itself, hydrogen with air. Oh, bro, the engine sizes are going to be. They can be small. If you do a hybrid, it can be actually not too crazy. We can kind of keep cars the same size if you do hybridize it, because the air to hydrogen mixtures, they can be off crazily because of how flammable it actually is, guys, right? But all right, you know what, guys, let's go ahead and check it out. I'm sorry to keep yapping, but it's a little frustrating to kind of encounter this, but hopefully we get some solid information.
Let's find out.
Let's go.
Toyota is pursuing a multifaceted strategy to being carbon neutral, and the Japanese automaker may find success with it. Toyota has been a pioneer in hybrid and plug-in hybrid automobiles since it introduced the groundbreaking Prius in 1997.
That's not a Prius.
These vehicles paved
That's a Prius. All right. This other one looks way too good to be a Prius.
the groundbreaking Prius in 1997. These vehicles paved the way for the present electric vehicle boom. Despite its heritage, the Japanese company has been reluctant to embrace the all-electric trend head-on. The controversy surrounding Toyota's opposition to the switch to 100% electric is rather thought-provoking. The ban on gas-powered cars by 2035 has already been authorized by legislators in California, Australia, Canada, the European Union, and Australia. Automotive makers are under intense pressure to switch from gas to electric.
Guys, I'm gonna be honest. I live half the year in Spain, and I can tell you that doesn't seem plausible. Like living in Spain and seeing how everything is, I can tell you right now that's going to be like converting them specifically from manual and diesel to a continuous variable transmission, CVT, and a battery. I don't know. I mean, maybe certain parts of Europe. I'm going to probably tell you it's not going to be Spain or South Italy or anywhere outside of like Paris or Lyon, France, guys. I'm just trying to think of places where you could go where that's actually plausible. And I'm going to say it's probably only Germany.
Electric automobiles as efforts to reduce carbon emissions escalate.
Finland, maybe.
Toyota, meanwhile, publicly showed its disobedience by declining to ratify the COP26 agreement, which calls for the use of electric vehicles only by 2040. The corporation has purposefully dragged its feet on the issue, arguing that the rush to fully electric vehicles has left many important considerations out. Akio
Iconic
Toyoda,
Supra.
the former CEO of Toyota, received a lot of flack for taking an unpopular position. Jaguar, a British luxury automaker, said publicly that it would go entirely electric by 2025 back in February 2022. Cadillac and Volvo have also stated that they will only sell electric vehicles after 2030. Toyota is in the news for appearing uninterested in a market where many rivals, including Honda, Ford, Mercedes, Volkswagen, and General Motors, intend to phase out gasoline-powered vehicles in favor of electric vehicles. Toyota has a reputation for being among the first to adopt new technologies, so taking this path surprised us. However, its justification is really compelling.
Go ahead.
Toyota worries that making the changeover to all electric vehicles won't be feasible anytime soon. Akio Toyoda said that EVs are just overhyped and that having too many of them could be dangerous. His opinion is that the high price of electric vehicles, combined with the lack of a supporting infrastructure, renders their widespread adoption impossible. However, all of it is now hidden from the public, because electric vehicles only make up approximately 1% of the global auto fleet. If the number of electric vehicles rises, reality will begin to set in slowly. The biggest issue to deal with when electric vehicles flood the market will be the demand for electricity. To meet the load demand that electric vehicles will provide by 2030, the United States needs to expand power output by 40%. In other words, the current electricity supply chain needs to receive investments totaling around $100 billion. Even if some regions of Europe and Asia currently have sophisticated grids as a result of increased electric vehicle customer demand, it would still be far from enough if every car owner switched to electric. Akio Toyota has voiced reservations regarding electric cars, focusing instead on the necessity of hydrogen-powered technology in vehicles.
Bro, it's the same issue. There's no difference. It's the same issue. I mean, yeah, we can probably achieve this faster than anything else, but again, specialized storage. And think about this here. We're going to need someone with a degree, I'm telling you right now, inside that gas station. Okay? They should know a little bit about chemistry, just right? Enough to know how to handle this safely. All right? If not, we're going to see a lot of gas stations just going up into the air. I'm telling you, right? So it's a little tricky. Again, these hydrogen in this amount that will be required to store, guys, is going to also have to travel on our highways, guys, right? I mean, to travel on our highways super dangerously, right? And then it needs to be stored in a specialized storage location. Guys, but all right, let's do it.
Akio Toyota predicts that this new engine will destroy the entire EV market. Aside from the limited range of electric cars, he has also expressed concern over the environmental effects of battery production and disposal, as well as the lack of infrastructure for charging. Indeed,
Bro, get out of my head.
Toyota's arguments make a lot of sense. First, there is not enough power to support electric vehicles. Second, fossil fuels are the main source of electricity in the world. Therefore, increasing the number of electric vehicles won't decrease emissions. Rather, it will just change their source. His detractors may all be mistaken based on Akio Toyota's assertion that carbon, not combustion engines, is the enemy. From broad views, it appears that electric vehicle adoption is not uniform worldwide. While certain markets, like those in Europe and China, move more quickly than others, the United States is a laggard. Then there are markets that are far behind with little to no EV infrastructure, like Africa. This disparity suggests that the globe is not yet prepared to forward the all-electric vehicles objective collectively.
We're not. And that's kind of the issue here, right? Like, we can have these conversations about we need to stop polluting and all these other things, guys, right? We all in the first world, okay, we know that we went through our industrial revolution a very long time ago. We built our country by destroying the world. We sure did, right? But these other developing nations are now going to have to do the same exact thing in the worst time in our history because of what we did in the first world. We did that, guys. So either we need to give them every single thing, right? So they don't do this. Basically build gigantic solar farms. And I mean, they would have to basically cover the entire Sahara, guys, just to funnel energy to probably one country. Think about the amount of solar we actually need to feed the country, in a sense, plus the amount of backup batteries required. Right? Again, we're solving one problem by creating another one consistently.
Toyota believes that switching to all-electric vehicles will leave a sizable number of its consumers completely in the dark. In 2021, Toyota sold more than 10.5 million units in more than 200 nations, making it the car maker with the greatest global market penetration. The business boasts a substantial market share across the board, particularly in underdeveloped nations with subpar charging infrastructure. By 2035, these areas will not be able to build the infrastructure necessary to support electric vehicles. Electric vehicles are also highly pricey. Electric vehicles are currently somewhat less expensive because of government subsidies intended to encourage people to purchase them.
Yeah, but those aren't immediately given. You buy an electric vehicle at full price and plus whatever dealer markup. So if you really want people to get these vehicles, you need to make it somewhat unlawful for these dealers to take advantage. If that makes any sense, right? Like at least have a base model EV and mandate that if your company is going to do business with this dealership, they cannot, under any circumstance, add, let's say, a markup of more than 0.0001%, meaning they can't mark it up at all, right? And so that means when the MSRP comes out, you know the price of that vehicle is going to be that price. There's no, there are not many or whatever it is, and you want to start and then the dealership raises the price. Make that unlawful, and then guess what will happen? People will then instantly start buying these vehicles if they're affordable. Okay, that's it. Make an EV that costs $20,000. Okay, with 200 miles of range. I mean, is it better than the gas variant for the same price? No, because not at all. But you get what I'm saying here, right?
It's unclear how long governments will maintain these incentives, particularly once mass production starts. Without financial incentives, many buyers would not be eager to spend a fortune on an electric vehicle. The corporation thinks that switching to a mixed engine is more practical than going entirely electric. They refer to it as a balanced approach, suggesting hybrid vehicles. Toyota is actively pursuing the development of hydrogen-powered vehicles because of this. Toyota's hydrogen strategy, the promotion of hydrogen-powered vehicles as a zero-emission substitute for gasoline and diesel-powered autos, is now being done by internal combustion engines, ICE. The business is developing
the hydrogen engines would probably be coded as H2 ICE. H2 ICE engines.
Internal combustion engine that burns hydrogen and might destroy the electric vehicles market. Lithium-ion batteries power electric vehicles. It is clear from the name alone that lithium is a key component used in the creation of the batteries.
Right.
Lithium, regrettably, is not one of those naturally occurring metals in great abundance. When electric vehicles begin to be produced in large quantities, the Toyota team predicts a looming lithium shortage. Given its limited quantity, they are worried about where it will be sourced. Killing two birds with one stone is how Toyota describes its suggested solution to this issue. Instead of producing larger batteries for electric-only vehicles, they advise producing smaller batteries for hybrid automobiles. One way that this plan will handle the lithium shortage is by using more batteries with limited lithium. Hybrid automobiles, on the other hand...
Yeah, but now we're still not replacing guys, hold on, wait a second. I get it. Without the lithium, they're not going to last as long. I'm telling you right now, right? They're just not. They're not going to last as long. The range on them are going to be terrible. It's basically like buying a battery from the dollar store and not buying a battery from the dollar store. Okay, and then putting it in like some type of high drain device. That's what they're saying. All right, just let you know right now. Okay,
will emit fewer emissions than conventional cars. How the world will function after only electric vehicles are on the roads has not yet been determined. But Toyota clarifies what to anticipate. Going all electric will put a burden on the world's metal resources used to create batteries. In addition to lithium, there will be an increase in demand for nickel and manganese, two additional essential metals used in the production of batteries.
Yeah, but those aren't that hard.
The cost of batteries may be affected, which may therefore have an impact on the price of cars.
In fact, they're going to get higher and higher and higher until we then need to worry about now a brand new issue because there's no more lithium. Like we exhaust all the lithium. What do we do? And then now we have gigantic holes in the earth everywhere that we look. Okay, guys, what do we do? We're going to have to get a spaceship and I don't know, bring it to another planet that may have lithium, and then we'll do space mining. Well, I guess that will take us into the future, right? Maybe, right? We'll do some space mining on another planet.
Toyota believes
with robots, AI robot space mining of lithium on, I don't know, what are the Gleases or something.
That relying on government incentives, which may end at any time, is highly dangerous. Only a small portion of new cars sold are all electric, leaving room for alternative types of vehicles to enter the market. Toyota has chosen this route. Let's examine the hydrogen combustion engine in more detail to discover why Toyota officials believe it may
Okay.
eventually render electric vehicles obsolete.
I'm guessing hydrogen, air, moving the pistons, then translating it into mechanical energy.
Let's introduce the Corolla Cross H2 concept. The Toyota Corolla Cross H2 concept employs a brand new hydrogen ICE, internal combustion engine, prototype vehicle. The powerful 1.6-liter, three-cylinder
1.6
turbocharged engine that powers the
three-cylinder.
GR Corolla and GR Yaris has been adapted to run on hydrogen.
Okay.
The highly flammable hydrogen technology that Toyota learned with its FCEV, fuel cell electric vehicle, the Mirai, first needs to be stored in thick armored fuel tanks. Stronger connecting rods, harder valves and valve seats, and fuel injectors made for gas rather than liquid are added to the engine. The Cross H2
I will say the engine is going to last longer. So listen, there are a lot of Toyotas that end up with over 1 million miles. These cars are probably going to run for much longer than that. I'm just going to let you guys know, based off of what it sounds like, at least. It's going to run a lot longer than 1 million miles.
concept can accommodate 5 passengers and their belongings, much like a regular Corolla. In other thrilling news for auto enthusiasts everywhere, Toyota and Yamaha Motor have teamed up to create a V8 engine that runs on hydrogen. The
Okay.
5.0-liter V8,
5.0.
which Yamaha stated would be based on the one used by the Lexus RC Coupe, will have adjustments to its cylinder heads and fuel injectors, among other things, in a recent release. Yamaha claims that it will generate 398 pound-feet of torque at 3,600 revolutions per minute and 455 horsepower at 6,800 revolutions per minute.
Okay.
Even though it has a little less
Bro, that's terrible. Listen, the whole car culture is just going to go away, right? There will be nothing fun about driving these monstrosities. 55 horsepower coming from a V8? With that little amount of torque? But that's disrespectful. And watch it cost like $300,000.
power than the base gasoline V8, it is still
Right.
fairly acceptable. The
Is it?
8-into-1 top-mounted exhaust manifold, which Yamaha claims produces a distinct high-frequency sound, must be the most amazing aspect of the hydrogen V8. You have to admit that
All you hear is
while
the
it may not
turbo.
be the most exciting part of your day,
No.
filling up your gas-powered internal combustion engine vehicle is not a difficult process. Because hydrogen is a gas rather than a liquid,
Right.
filling up a car with it is just as simple and takes much less time to complete. If you've ever had a propane tank filled, as opposed to being replaced with a new one, you know how quickly the procedure will go. In actuality, it takes the new Toyota Yaris GRH2 only 1.5 minutes to fill up completely with hydrogen, which is far quicker than it would take for a Toyota Camry to fill up with unleaded gasoline.
Okay.
On the other hand, diesel fuel has long been
Bro, you drifting a Tesla?
used in vehicles that must pull heavy loads. But in regions where the temperature drops into the negative double digits, they can freeze. Unleaded fuel, thankfully, can endure temperatures as low as minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what can occur with some really chilly wind chill effects. Prior to starting to freeze up, lithium batteries can tolerate temperatures of up to minus 140 degrees Fahrenheit, though this can still happen sometimes. Because hydrogen can tolerate temperatures as low as minus 435 degrees Fahrenheit, it is the
Guys, that's really close to absolute zero.
ideal choice for all cold climates. The same is true at the hot end of the spectrum. Hydrogen is far better at adapting to different climates than the other two possibilities that are now available.
Okay.
The materials used to make lithium batteries are difficult to produce. In reality, a lot of individuals believe that there would be a shortage of lithium and battery-grade nickel, which will make it difficult to create the lithium batteries used in electric vehicles.
Not just electric vehicles, everything. Keep that in mind. Every single thing that uses lithium will go up in price instantly. And I mean, guys, everything. Okay? Everything.
If hydrogen-powered engines are designed to their fullest capacity, this could prevent a significant delay in the transition to electric vehicles. One of the main issues with electric vehicles, automobiles and trucks in particular, is sound. Nothing compares to the thrill of depressing the gas pedal on an old classic muscle car such as a 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS
Right.
with a large block 454 or a
Yes.
1969 Ford Mustang
Keep
with a
going.
428 Cobra Jet.
All of that.
When an automobile is about to launch, you may hear the sound of the carburetors opening as the fuel pours into the chambers, feel the power flow through your chest, and experience a complete burst of adrenaline. Electric vehicles cannot provide it.
No.
But the hydrogen-powered vehicle
They can provide speakers, though, but it
can because it operates in a similar manner. Nearly every corner in the country is home to a tiny local repair business. But as electric vehicles gain in popularity among customers, you won't have that option any longer.
right.
You might be able to repair their electric engine by going online and watching a few YouTube videos, but it is strongly advised that you take it to a certified mechanic who is experienced with the most recent technology.
Like with that
The
amount of
amazing thing
electricity,
about hydrogen-powered
no, thank
engines
you.
is that they are purely mechanical and are quite similar to fuel-powered engines. That implies
guys.
that the little neighborhood shops you feel safe bringing your cars to will be able to fix them. The fact that hydrogen is very combustible, challenging to handle and store, and produces nitrous oxide during burning are some drawbacks. Toyota's approach to carbon neutrality is more diverse, considering many technologies in order to accomplish the objective of zero emissions, in contrast to practically all other automakers who are placing their entire faith in electric vehicles. This mindset looks more and more prophetic in light of the fact that European nations are seeking ways to reduce their energy use due to the conflict in Ukraine and its effects on energy supplies. In fact, Switzerland has taken it a step further by advising electric vehicle owners to reserve the usage of their vehicles for emergencies like errands or supermarket runs. This policy may even become law. There is a route to success for hydrogen-powered cars, but it might ultimately be obstructed by electric vehicle dominance. Hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles include cutting-edge technology that has a lot of potential. They also have a number of benefits over conventional electric vehicles, including a greater range and faster charging or refueling. However, for hydrogen-powered cars to become widely used, a number of technological developments are required. At the moment, it costs a lot and requires a lot of fossil fuel to produce hydrogen. Infrastructure for hydrogen refueling stations is also lacking. Most importantly, the popularity of non-hydrogen electric vehicles may be preventing hydrogen fuel cell
Right.
electric vehicles from taking off.
Guys, there are way too many car clubs, car culture things that are ingrained in a lot of societies around the world, guys. I'm telling you, I don't know how you're going to do it. Let me know. How do you plan on getting all the Jeep guys out of Jeeps? Or, or say, listen, we're going to go ahead and put batteries in your Jeep, but yet your Jeep is generally underneath the water regularly. That's me. Right. So how are you going to tell these people that they need to get rid of their vehicles? Right. Like, I mean, I personally can't mentally be like, oh, yeah, I don't need a V8. Who says things like that?
People need a good reason to give up their Teslas. Therefore, until one is presented, hydrogen-powered cars might remain unpopular. Technology for hydrogen fuel cells has already been around for a while. It was created in the late 1960s to supply electricity for NASA's manned space flights. Since then, it has been refined and may currently be used to power a terrestrial vehicle in place of an internal combustion engine. An electrolyte membrane, an anode, and a cathode make up a conventional hydrogen fuel stack. While oxygen is fed to the cathode, hydrogen is fed to the anode, where it is divided into protons and electrons. While the protons pass across the membrane and change into water, the electrons are compelled into a circuit, producing electricity. Hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles have a reinforced tank of compressed hydrogen that travels through the fuel stack, in contrast to conventional EVs that are powered by a battery pack. The vehicle's electric motors are driven by this converted electricity, and only harmless water vapor is released from the exhaust. The lack of range is the main criticism among electric vehicle users, and hydrogen-powered vehicles potentially address this issue. The Hyundai Nexo can travel 385 miles on a single fill-up, while the Toyota Mirai can go an additional 402 miles, compared to an average electric vehicle range of 250 miles. The length...
Bro, I can only give you some anecdotal evidence here. So my household has 3 vehicles. The vehicle that my wife drives, she gets maybe 320 or so, and it's an SUV. One of my Jeeps gets about 220 miles on a full tank, and then my main Jeep that I take actually off-road almost exclusively gets probably 120, 140, but we're on like 42-inch mud tires, guys. Gas does not like my vehicle.
The time it takes to charge an electric vehicle is the second most common complaint among owners. An electric vehicle battery pack can be fully charged at home in 8 to 40 hours. However,
8 to 40 hours? 8 to 40 hours.
A battery pack can be fully charged at home in 8 to 40 hours. However, filling up a hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicle simply takes a few minutes and works the same way as a gas-powered vehicle. For their H2 vehicles, Toyota and Hyundai both provide free fill-ups. Toyota offers its customers free hydrogen refueling for 6 years or $15,000, whichever comes first. Similar terms of 3 years or $13,000 in fill-ups are offered by Hyundai. Infrastructure is where hydrogen fuel cell vehicles most need to advance. Simply put, there aren't that many hydrogen refueling locations. There are just about 60 in the United States, about 15 in Great Britain, and all of them are in the state of California. There are only a few in Canada. If you can't fill the tank, no one will buy a hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicle. The cost of hydrogen is the next significant
I can tell you factually, I'm not going anywhere near California.
problem. For a brief period, automakers do provide free fill-ups, but eventually owners are on their own. The price of hydrogen is comparable to that of gasoline and can reach $12 per gallon. For hydrogen-powered vehicles to succeed, that cost must be reduced to $2 per gallon, the electric vehicle equivalent. The fact that hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles are not
$12 a gallon.
as ecologically
$12 a gallon.
beneficial as claimed is another drawback. Making hydrogen requires a lot of energy, and today, fossil fuels account for 99% of production. While the vehicle itself may not contribute to pollution, the production of its fuel most certainly does. Finding a renewable energy option for hydrogen production is necessary to increase public interest in H2 vehicles. Infrastructure can be created, and new, more affordable, environmentally friendly methods of producing hydrogen can be discovered. It makes sense that since the technology is still in its infancy, it will only advance in terms of powering automobiles. Hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles can compete with electric vehicles for drivers by matching their economy. However, even if H2 vehicles were to become as affordable and practical to use as electric vehicles, battery technology is also advancing and enhancing range, which would eliminate the advantage of hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles. Electric vehicle owners may find no compelling reason to switch from a Model S to a Mirai in the end. When everything is equal, consumers will stick with what they are familiar with. However, with its dynamic force engine strategy, Toyota has gained considerable prominence. The foundation of their dynamic force engine concept is increased thermal effectiveness. For instance, Toyota is said to have developed motors with a 41% thermal efficiency today, which is a noteworthy accomplishment given that the majority of gasoline engines have efficiencies of approximately 25–33%. Finally, the decision is up to the consumer. Battery electric vehicles and hydrogen combustion engine vehicles both have the potential to make substantial contributions to a sustainable transportation system, as is well known. It is unlikely that either technology will replace the other. Instead, they will coexist and fulfill various functions according to individual consumer tastes and circumstances. Thanks for watching another episode of Voyager. While you're still here, make sure to click the video on your screen for more mind-blowing.
Guys, I can definitely tell you, I think it's a good idea, but not really, right? Again, because you're going to have to how about this, not make. You have to find people that are specialized in this, in the storing of it, because I think that's probably the most important thing here. Also, what happens in a car accident? Like, what happens? Because the level of flammability this is crazy. What happens in a car accident? But all right, I mean, that's probably the reason why it hasn't come to fruition, guys. Just keep that in mind. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly.